Shepherd's Advantage Leadership Podcast, Episode 008. Well, hello everyone, and welcome to another Shepherd's Advantage Leadership Podcast. We are so grateful that you have taken the time to come and be with us and share in this leadership learning experience. Our desire and goal at Shepherd's Advantage is to make a difference with people who make a difference while doing something that makes a difference. Shepherd's Advantage was born as an outgrowth of a committee assignment that was given to us a number of years ago, and out of that experience came insights on leadership and relational connectivity, principles that were learned that eventually led me to a dissertation that I did not know I was going to write, and to Shepherd's Advantage Incorporated that I did not know was going to exist. So at Shepherd's Advantage, we are now in podcasting, and our desire is to focus upon leadership development. We're here to provoke and stir the imagination to greater leadership capabilities, offering insightful as well as academic insights into the modern nonprofit leader. One of our premier programs that we offer at Shepherd's Advantage is our Executive Coaching Program. This program is a program designed to come alongside of you and to help you reach solutions and answers that lie deep within you. You see, I believe that a good coach, an executive coach, is not a person that comes alongside of you and tells you how to do things, or suggest that this is how I did it, and if you do it the same way, you'll get the same results that I did. I believe quite to the opposite and contrary. I believe that a good executive coach is a person that comes alongside you to help you reach within yourself to discover the potential that is lying dormant within you. I believe that every person has a great potential for leadership, and our desire is to help you discover that and to see that. Well, in these inaugural podcasts, we have been focusing upon the foundational building blocks of leadership. These foundational building blocks comes from the 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership by John Maxwell. We have in the show notes an affiliate link for you if you desire to purchase the book or the workbook. There is a bit of proceed that comes back to us as a result of your purchase there, and to that we would be very grateful for, but so that you know that, and we can make this disclaimer, that all proceeds from our affiliate links come back into Shepherd's Advantage, and we reinvest it into this ministry to make leadership principles and thought products available to you to enhance your overall ability. So we would appreciate that very, very much. It's not necessary that you have the books, but the basis of these inaugural podcasts all come from this. If you'll go to our introductory podcast, in fact, episode 001, we have listed there others that have provided a list of laws of leadership. We're using John Maxwell's material simply because when you Google it, it is number one in the Google search. It is the most comprehensive of lists of laws of leadership that you're going to find. However, it is not the only list, but we're using it because it is the most comprehensive. So with that said, let's begin today in this journey of continuing in the laws of leadership. And today we want to begin with the law of buy-in. The law of buy-in says that people buy into the leader, then they buy into the vision. This law is a study in leaders finding the dream and then the people. The people find a leader, then the dream. Mohandas K. Gandhi illustrates the law of buy-in for us. India had been attempting to gain freedom from British rule through violence. Mahatma Gandhi was educated in London and then served in South Africa, working on behalf of struggling minorities. It was in this environment that his leadership skill was developed. 6 years after returning to India, Gandhi was elected as the All India Rule League president. The most amazing thing about Gandhi was not that he became leader of India, but that he was able to change the vision of the people in how to obtain freedom. Gandhi once stated that nonviolence is the greatest force available to mankind. It is mightier than any weapon of destruction. India's struggle for independence was slow and it was painful. But by 1947, they gained their freedom. Because people had bought into Gandhi, they bought into the vision. Once they embraced the vision, they were able to carry it out to its completion. That is the law of buy-in. People do not first buy into worthy causes. They follow worthy leaders who promote causes that they can believe in. Let's pause on that for just a moment. Think about the power of that statement. There are a lot of great causes. There are a lot of worthy causes. It's not that we're lacking and we have a vacuum of need for great causes. There are plenty of them. But you see, people are going to follow a leader who promotes a cause that they can believe in, and that is the sequence of thought in how people are going to buy in. Realize that as a leader, you are the message. Every message is filtered by the people through the messenger who delivers it. People will go along with people they can get along with. That's significant, isn't it? I mean, think about it. Are you going to follow somebody that you can't get along with? No. I mean, we want to work with people. We want to partner with people that we can get along with. And when that is said and done, then we're very open to causes that leader may set before us. And if we are amenable to that cause, and we feel so prompted to, then we will buy into that and partner along in that cause. You see, this notion that you are the message, this is not an either-or proposition. You cannot separate the leader from the cause that they promote. People want to listen to people they believe in. Once they believe in you, they are willing to give a person's vision a chance. Consider the following comparisons, and we have this in a table form in the show notes that's available to you. But consider this equation that a leader plus vision equals results. So let's consider some options on this table of equation. If you have a leader that you don't buy into, that promotes a vision that you don't buy into, then in terms of the results, you need to get another leader. Now, if you have a leader that you don't buy into, but there is a vision that you buy into, then the result is still the same. Get another leader. However, if you have a leader that you buy into, but you don't buy into the vision, then the result should be get another vision. And then ultimately, if we have a leader that we buy into, and they have a vision that we can buy into, then the result should be get behind that leader and go with them. If you buy into the leader and you buy into the vision, then things are going to get accomplished, revolutionized, and yes, you can become a change agent within your organization, or better yet, even for the greater good of your community. When followers don't like the leader or the vision, they will look for another leader. The only time people would stay with a leader that they do not like and a vision that they do not like is that the leader holds some kind of leverage over the people. This leads to absolute sinister behavior that is very threatening, that is not healthy at all, not productive at all, and you need to get away as fast as you can in that environment. When followers don't like the leader, but they like the vision, they'll look for another leader. I mean, what separates coaches in the sports world is not so much of their strategy, because all coaches want to be part of a winning team and they want to be winners themselves. But rather it is in the credibility of the coach with the players that makes all the difference in the world. When followers like the leader but not the vision, the followers will stay with the leader. Perhaps there will be compromise, adopting a new vision, or concede to the leader's vision anyhow. When when followers buy into the leader and the leader's vision, they will get behind both. Gandhi's vision of peaceful resistance against all odds. JFK's vision of putting a man on the moon. Martin Luther King's vision of I have a dream can still live on through the years. And these illustrations that I have listed and just mentioned are illustrations that through time and decades, the story, the history is still taught. The stories are still repeated, and we still look for those monumental moments when people offer the character of strength and their ability in terms of who they are, and we buy into it. It resonates with us. We are willing to follow them. I mean, I still, as a child, I remember JFK's challenge to put a man on the moon, and to see that become a reality was an absolute amazing experience in my young life. And then when we come around to the expansion of NASA and we got into the space shuttle, I never will forget that first space shuttle that took off and then landed. That was an amazing piece of technology. And as a nation, we were buying into leaders that had a grand vision, and we just were wowed as a nation. Boy, I tell you, today, we definitely need leaders that we can buy into, that has a vision that we can buy into, because there is much at stake in our world. Your success as a leader is to take people where they need to go, but you can only do that if they first buy in to you. Well, how do we apply this law? First of all, I would suggest and say to you, do you have a vision that can be articulated on paper? Now, why would I say that? I mean, what is so compelling about the vision? I mean, is it really worth your time investment? I have often said that if you cannot articulate your vision on paper, if you cannot write it, then you're really only daydreaming. And if you can write it down and you can see it and you feel it and you're passionate about it, then that brings us to a question. Are you willing to stake a significant portion of your life to follow after that kind of vision? You're asking people to buy into something. If you as a leader can't write it down and you're not passionate about it, then how do you expect followers to be passionate about that vision as well? Second of all, in applying this law of buy-in, I mean, what is the level of buy-in from the people that you're leading? You might want to just take a piece of paper on 1 to 10, a 1 to 10 scale, with 1 meaning that no one is following, and 10 is that they will follow you into battle. If you realize that there are more that are not buying into you as a leader, do not be surprised when they go find a new leader. So you might want to just kind of take that little exercise to heart and do some heart searching and some real soul evaluation. And then thirdly, think about ways that you can gain credibility with individuals. See each person individually and develop a strategy of credibility with each person. Don't see people as stepping stones or leadership teams as simply those you're going to step on to step over and bypass them. No, develop them. Be a person of character and quality, and when they buy into you, they will buy into your vision. And then when buying into your vision, then your passion is stirred to help them reach their potential. And I'll tell you, that's just a win-win combination all day long. So the law of buy-in. Next, let's take a look for just a moment on the law of victory. The law of victory says that leaders will find a way for the team to win. Victorious leaders possess an unwillingness to accept defeat. The alternative to winning is totally unacceptable to them. Listen, it's about winning. I remember growing up in Indiana. Indiana is a great basketball state. And at a very early age, I can still remember my coach, Coach Bill Henry, always said, gentlemen, it's about winning. Second place is simply first loser. He was going to motivate us and stir us to find a way to win. And as a young group of junior high schoolers, it was amazing looking back at what we were able to accomplish and go up against teams that we probably should not have even been playing. They were way out of our league, but we didn't know any different because of Coach Bill Henry. The alternative to winning was just an unacceptable proposition for him. Winston Churchill certainly embodies this law. He stated one time, he said, he asked the question, what is our aim? And then he answered it. He said, I can answer in one word, victory. Victory at all costs. Victory in spite of terror. Victory however long and hard the road may be. For without victory, there will be no survival. Wow. Now that is an outstanding quote and an outstanding statement to think about as a leader that was going up against the Third Reich. And it was because of Winston Churchill that stood his ground and held his position and rallied his nation that no matter what, this is about victory, victory at all costs. Now, in that same time period of history, consider Franklin Roosevelt. Franklin Roosevelt was another leader who would simply just not quit. I mean, think about his own personal health issues and fighting polio. I mean, throughout his life, he battled physical difficulties, and yet he managed to win politically. America came out from under the Great Depression during this time period. And then he and his partnership and alliance with Churchill, this tandem, as you look back on it in history, we could really trace the defeat of the Third Reich and killing the spirit of Joseph Stalin to these two great leaders, men who stood up and just simply said, losing is not an option. We're going to possess victory at all cost in spite of terror, no matter how long or how hard or difficult it is. Victory is our only option. Another great historical figure to insert into this discussion would be Nelson Mandela. Nelson Mandela became president of South Africa following the country's first full elections at the end of its apartheid government. And this is after that Mandela spent 27 years in prison. I mean, Mandela stated that he was an ordinary man who became president through extraordinary circumstances. Now, I had the privilege to be in South Africa a number of times, and all of my experiences in going to South Africa were just prior to Mandela's victory in becoming president of South Africa. South Africa is such a wonderful place. It is a marvelous place to go, and certainly would hope that many people would have an opportunity to visit there sometime, and I certainly desire to even go back and to see the country once again. But Mandela, when you think about his life and the circumstances that he had to face, and the imprisonment, and so much that was against him, and then turn around and became the president of South Africa. Listen, I would suggest that when the pressure is on, when the pressure is at its maximum, great leaders are going to be at their best. Whatever is on the inside of a person is going to come to the surface when the pressure is really turned up. These brand of leaders feel that leadership is responsible, losing is unacceptable, passion is unquenchable, creativity is essential, quitting is unthinkable, commitment is unquestionable, and victory is inevitable. Oh, that we would have leaders of this kind of quality and caliber. Well, I would suggest that there are three components of victory. First of all, there is a unity of vision. Teams only succeed when the players have a unified vision, no matter how much talent or potential exists. Victory is never achieved when everyone is working from different agendas. You really have got to get on the same page. Everybody has got to pull the same direction. Everybody has to be united for a specific cause. And then, second of all, diversity of skills. It goes without saying that any team or organization must have diversity of skills. Can you imagine a nonprofit with nothing but fundraisers? Diversity fills in the blind spots of the leader. Each person on the team has a contribution to make. Leaders and leadership applauds this kind of diversity. Do not underestimate the value of other people's contributions. Now, I certainly would applaud having a vast number of fundraisers, but if all we did was raise funds, then we would never get at the task that originated this ministry and this work that we call Shepherd's Advantage. Sure, it takes funds, it takes money to operate, but the driving vision is what compels us to move forward. And there are others that come along with us in this journey that offer valuable contributions. That is important. Number three, A leader dedicated to victory and raising others to their potential. Consider Lou Holtz. Lou Holtz stated that you have to have great talent in order to win, no matter who is coaching. So we have to have a leader that's dedicated to raise the potential of other people. Great leaders help people to achieve their potential, and that is necessary to achieving victory. Leaders who practice this law of victory do not have plan B available. This is why they have a never say no or never die attitude about them. Consider Herb Keller, who took Southwest Airlines with a net asset of $22 million in 1971 to a $14+ billion business by 2006. Former President Colleen Barrett stated that Southwest has a warrior mentality that has been built into the company by Herb. He had this never say never attitude and never die disposition, and yet he believed in his company and his employees, and he helped them to achieve greatness in the aviation industry. So what is your level of expectation when it comes to succeeding for your organization? How dedicated are you to winning? How important is it for you to see the team win, the organization to win? Personal agendas can certainly sabotage that goal. So, answer the question. What is your level of expectation when it comes to succeeding in your organization? Well, how would we apply this law of victory? First of all, I would suggest to take responsibility for the success of the team, the department, or the organization that you're leading. Your commitment must be higher than everyone else around you. Your dedication must be without question. If you are dedicated, second of all, to victory for your team or your organization, you will only be able to do that with the right people on the team. Discover the gaps in your team and hire to fill those gaps in. Raise up the leaders necessary to fill those gaps. But understand that we have gaps, and it's important for us to be dedicated as a team, to have the right personnel, to have the right people around us. We either hire to fill that gap or we train to raise them up. But either way, we have to have a team that is dedicated in achieving victory. And then thirdly, is there a unity of vision on your team? Informally inquire of your team what they believe to be the most important aspect of being on the team. Ask them to describe the mission of the team, of the department, of the organization, of the church, of the nonprofit. If you get a diversity of answers, then you've got to work at strengthening the vision. It's okay to have ideas and opinions, but when it comes to achieving victory, everybody has to be on the same page at the same time, pulling the same direction, investing the quality energy that is necessary. Well, that is the law of victory. And yet another time, our time has run out in this podcast. Thank you so very, very much for spending these moments with us, going on this journey with us of Shepherd's Advantage Leadership Podcast Series, developing the leader within you, believing that you have potential that is untapped and unreached. And until the next time, we say farewell and bid you Godspeed, and may the hand of the Almighty rest upon you.